Good morning, everyone. Stand for a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance. Now the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call today's meeting to order. We'll begin with the approval of minutes. And I believe, Commissioner Kiefer, you were absent for that meeting.
I will abstain.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion to approve or comments, questions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second, have first and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Next, we'll begin with Commissioner reports and comments. Vice President Baker.
Yes, good morning, everyone. It's nice to see nice turnout in our chambers today. Hope you have an enjoyable day here listening to the commissioners. I just have two things. One would be the Zoning Commission. I know they have the authority to do minor votes, and I would just like to see the information that defines what a minor decision is for Washington County.
Okay.
So I'd just like to see that information. And then the other thing is on warehouses in Washington County. I know we've got a lot of them, and I'm sure every county commissioner has heard some positive and negative things about the warehouses. And I'd just like to know how much land is possibly available or left in Washington County for future warehouses.
I know Jill was back here. So
I don't expect an answer today, no.
Is that something that we could, we're really talking about the planning commission, right? And the planning commission and their minor.
Zoning.
That's what we're talking about.
Zoning board.
Okay.
Yeah.
Board of Zoning Appeals,
Thank
okay.
you. Terry, anything else?
That's it, thank you.
Commissioner Kiefer.
Yes, I just have a couple of things here. I apologize for my absence in our last meeting. What you hear on the news about airports and flights being delayed is very true. We were supposed to be back the day before, and we got back in the wee hours of Tuesday morning, so wasn't in condition to come here. Would like to thank, I saw the meeting and echo some of the comments about thanking our election workers and poll workers. I did that for many years working at the elections. It's a tough job. It doesn't pay a lot, honestly, but it's rewarding. I enjoyed it when I did it, so I would like to thank all of our poll workers for working those long days. And again, I always enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun day, but it's important work. We'd like to thank some of our police officers. Two representatives are here, but National Night Out was a big success in many of our communities. I heard some good feedback, and I enjoyed some fireworks myself and my family. And police officers do great work in our community, despite what you may see from time to time. There may be some bad apples. There is in every profession. But police officers, especially here in Washington County, the work that I've seen them do, great work, and what a good way to get out in the community and interact with the public that they serve and protect every day. So we'd just like to thank our communities, our police departments for putting those events on. A couple weeks ago, we were contacted by the Washington County Museum of Fine Arts about maybe touring their facility and a new project that they have on their radar. I brought up the idea of maybe having a county commissioner meeting at the Museum of Fine Arts. And I think if we had an agenda kind of like today, not a long agenda, that maybe we could meet at the museum. I know there might be some logistical issues to work through, but they have the meeting space there. It's a public facility. Certainly there's room for the public to gather, and we can broadcast it live on YouTube just like we do now. But that might be a nice thing to do, is to hold one of our meetings at the Museum of Fine Arts, again, when we have a later agenda that day. And one final thing I was thinking about as I was driving in, the outside temperature on my car read 89 degrees in the 9 o'clock hour. And that was rather warm for that early in the day. And I know we may get a cold front later in the week, but when the temperatures are this high, just maybe a reminder to folks, to our citizens, if you have friends or family members or neighbors that are elderly, this heat can be dangerous if their air conditioner may not work. if they have to run errands in the middle of the day. So if you know someone who's elderly, maybe you can check in on them when the temperatures are this high, just make sure they're okay, and see if they need anything. If it's something small that you might be able to run an errand, get them something that they need at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the hottest time of the day, rather than them going out and getting it. That might be a good thing and could save lives. So the hot weather could be dangerous. That's all I have.
Thank you. Commissioner Wagner?
Good morning. Commissioner Baker's request is something I'd be interested also in, because we get asked that question daily. So a lot going on in the community. I'll share a little bit what's some good things that's happened. And I was able to attend County Division of Emergency Services had to recruit class number 3 yesterday at the new training center. I welcome the new recruits. We stopped down and talked to them and thank the staff for making that happen and make it a smooth operation. I was able to attend something I've never done before. It was a Eagle Scout ceremony, induction ceremony. They took the pledge. There was 8 of them from Troop 51. Yeah, Troop 51. That was something to see. 8 Eagles coming in. The reason there was 8, it was some of the ceremonies were delayed from COVID, so that was pretty nice to watch. It was down at Keedysville Church. Was able to stop at Marty Snook Pool and see they have I forget the exact name for it. I think it was a disability swim clinic for disabled children. I think that's the exact name for it. Our Parks and Rec did a good job, had a good turnout. They brought the kids in shifts with their parents. Guards were all there early. It started like 9 o'clock, so that was interesting too to attend and watch the guards working with the children in the water and basically give them an introductory swim lessons. And then we had Williamsport Fire hosted Cumberland Valley Volunteers Fire Association the last several days. That was nice. It was Williamsport's turn to host it. I did get to go to the banquet that one night, Saturday evening, I think it was, or Friday evening. So it was people from all over Cumberland Valley were there, so that was pretty interesting. And last but not least, Heavy Metal Playground out on Pennsylvania Avenue by Horizon Goodwill. They've teamed with Horizon Goodwill. It's basically their 5th anniversary, and they were giving what they do is they certify in excavation and excavation equipment. And it's pretty nice. They have people drive in 7-8 hours for this. You go by there and see the Bobcats sitting around. Doesn't look like there's much activity, but they're very busy with 4-week clinics. So anyway, I think that's it. Thank you.
I just want to say, just so you were talking about that Parks and Recreation program.
Right.
It's the 2nd annual Special Needs Swim Clinic put on by our Parks and Rec Department.
Okay. And
they partner with Achieving True Self and Pathfinders for Autism. And I think they had 26 participants signed up for that. So
okay, good.
I'm glad you can make that. It's a good program. It's the 2nd annual. I think they'll continue that. So I just wanted to.
Thank you. Randy, anything else?
Thank you. No, I'm good.
There were, in regards to that event, there was a lot of smiles on the faces of many of the kids, especially the ones that were going down the slide. It was enjoyable to see that. I just want to remind everybody, ongoing is the Clear Spring Carnival. They have lunch up there at 11 to 1, I believe, in the community events building, and the carnival event's going. I strongly urge and recommend you eat the roast beef sandwich. It was delicious, but go up there and support your local volunteer fire company. I also did attend the Eagle ceremony over the weekend, but one of the comments that received from the Scoutmaster, I want to relate to DS and highways, that this gentleman lives down in Dargan and was very thankful for our response recently with the flooding and the trees down in that community, that rainstorm down about 2 weeks ago. So there you go. The work that you all do does get recognized, not always acknowledged. I did also attend the Cumberland Valley Volunteer Fire Company's convention and dinner at Williamsport Friday. Our very own Washington County resident Joe Crobeth was the outgoing president, and Hagerstown, Mr. DeHaven and his daughter received recognition awards at that. So it's great to see some of our local people excelling and shining in major events like that. I also did attend Williamsport National Night Out. I had at Hancock Williamsport, and Boonesboro is famous for its tanker spraying the kids. There's like 200 kids there screaming and hollering. But it is, as Commissioner Kiefer alluded to, it is good to get our police officers and responders out there amongst the people and show that they are good guys and good gals out there serving our community. And I also attended the recruit class 3's opening class yesterday down at the Public Training Safety Center. And as a reminder, I think it's September 20th or 22nd that we're having the open house.
September 20th.
September 20th. So be on alert. That's open for people, for the public to attend. And I would strongly urge everyone to go down there and see that state-of-the-art building that we created to train our first responders. With that being said, that concludes my report. We now go to staff comments. I think Rick Curry, I have you for something today.
I think these two gentlemen here.
Or do you want to go? Do you guys want to go first, or up to?
Yeah, they're all together.
Oh, okay. Please come forward. Then, Rick, do you want to come?
Normally we wouldn't do this during staff comments, but it's a unique situation, and they're going to explain to you why. So they're going to talk to you about some vehicles and.
Come and please introduce yourself in the matter.
Good morning, Major Lozich, the Sheriff's Office, Patrol Commander.
Sergeant Matheny, Washington County Sheriff's Office.
Rick Curry, Purchasing.
Please start. Please begin.
Okay. Normally, we would come in and ask for the cars once we know the exact amount for each car. The problem this year is we're not going to know the exact amount until they actually open the bidding, and it may close in one day. So we're sort of in a unique situation. Out of our capital improvement budget, I'd like to ask for the projected amount not to exceed for 14 cars of $640,500. Once we get the exact amount, we'll work with purchasing to have that plugged into the purchase order, and that's submitted right away so we don't run the risk of losing out on vehicles this year. And the backstory to that is GM opened the police Tahoes for one day. If you couldn't order that day, you're out till next year. Dodge did the same thing. Ford started, they said they would open July 17th. They didn't. They moved it to August 2nd, then they moved it to August 5th, and it's still not open at this point. So everybody's sort of on edge, and when they open it, it'll be like going to a concert where you're hitting that button trying to get those tickets. And once they close for the year, once they hit the amount of cars, if it's 15,000 cars is all they can make in a year, the order purchases will stop no matter where they are in it because they just won't be able to make the cars. So we're trying to be proactive in this. And
Is that related to like supply chain issues?
it's supply chain, workers, COVID, whatever they want to blame it on, but
So we would wait
sort of
another
like
year.
your airport deal.
If we'd wait another year, you could see excessive price increases too, which will limit that amount of cars. Would you
Correct.
suggest that? Okay.
But if we didn't get any cars this year, that'll put us way behind.
It'll put us 2 years behind by the time we would.
Is it pretty certain that you'll be able to hit the button quick enough, or do some people lose out?
Well, some people lost out on the Tahoes, so
Yeah.
it's sort of a
you
gambling
need a-
game, but
you
we
need
got to
a
be in the
motion.
game too.
We need a motion to approve this
Yeah,
request.
I'd just like to, I'm not sure I understand the cap of 640,000. So,
So I'm trying to purchase 14 cars for this year is where we would
Okay.
normally be. The rough numbers they gave us comes out to $640,500.
okay, and then what do we have budgeted?
We have $872,000 in the capital improvement program. So we're well under because, we have the lights and everything that goes into
understand.
it.
But if you've asked us for, I think Terry's probably getting, if you asked us for 640 and it was 670, what happens then?
Well, then I'd back down the car. Because I still have to have enough money left in that budget to upfit them.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, maybe it should, what you guys think, should it be upped a little bit just so we don't get in that situation, that request?
I can't tell you that this is the numbers that the car dealer gave us to use.
Right.
So that's their projected.
But if you have up to $800,000 and it.
But I
comes in
can't
at-
spend all that just on cars. I have to have money for the lights, the equipment that goes in them, the computers, so it's a balance there.
Yeah, so it was determined that they were going to buy 14 cars this year. That was what it was with the estimates that we
Do
had.
you think that's a safe figure for 14 cars?
think-
You're just going by what they tell you then?
Right,
Yeah.
right. All I can do is the quote that they give us, or the rough numbers right now. It's not even a real quote. So I feel fairly comfortable with that.
Yeah, but I don't want you losing a car over $10,000 or $15,000. If that makes sense.
Right, I understand what you're saying. I mean, do you want to approve 700, not to exceed? I mean, because I can't go too, like I said, I can't go too much over what I'm projecting, or I won't be able to upfit them anyhow.
You'd have to tell us, or at least tell me, what your recommendation would be on that. And if you're okay with 640,
Well, I think you have a good idea that gives them some room,
So, okay, I'll ask for 700,000, not to exceed.
up to, okay? Commissioners, thoughts, comments on that? Up to 700,000?
I mean, it makes sense to me. You're gonna pay for what you have to, and then 700, that extra gives you enough money to outfit them then. So, yeah, I'd motion to approve up to 700,000.
Is there a
for
second?
14 vehicles.
14 vehicles.
14 vehicles.
Right.
Thank you. Is there any other comments? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you for coming in on short notice
Thank you.
and helping us.
Thank you all.
Appreciate it.
All right. Any other people in the audience for staff comments? Seeing none. Mr. Downey?
Morning, Commissioners. Several weeks ago, there was a rezoning case, RZ 22-002. It was property out on Dual Highway, the former Family Recreation Park. It was covered by a rural business floating zone. There was a request to remove that floating zone from a portion of the property so that the current owner could pursue a residential use on the property. It was a consensus of the commissioners to grant the rezoning request, an ordinance formalizing the removal of the floating zone and classifying the property with its original underlying classification of agricultural rural has been prepared, and it would be appropriate to adopt the ordinance at this point.
Okay, you need a motion for that?
Yes, please.
Motion to adopt.
Is there a second? Okay, first and second, any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Continuing with staff reports, County Clerk,
No, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Administrator.
Good morning, President Klein. Good morning, Commissioners. Just a few things, and some of them have been already mentioned, but I had them on my list, so I'll go ahead and just mention them again. I did want to thank the police, EMS, fire companies, and first responders for the National Night Out. My family and I went to Smithsburg, and it was a very nice event, so I wanted to thank them for that. Just some scheduling things. Next week is the Maryland Association of Counties Conference in Ocean City, so there'll be some county staff going down to Mako next week, so we're looking forward to that. I know Tom Brown's in the back. Remembrance in the Park is on September 13th, so I know it's a little over a month away, but I wanted to make sure everybody had that date on their calendar. That's at Hagerstown City Park.
City Park.
At Hagerstown City Park. And then, as Commissioner Kleiner already mentioned, our ribbon cutting ceremony at the Public Safety Training Center is on September 20th from 5 to 8. And all are welcome. That's all I have.
Anything else? Next on our agenda is citizens' participation. This is an opportunity for citizens to comment about an issue or issues of county practices and interests. This is not an interactive dialogue or a question and answer session. It is solely time to hear citizen comment. Please limit your remarks to as close as 3 minutes or under as you can or as possible. Thank you. We'll begin with citizens' participation. Anybody, I guess, Mr. Williams, please come forward. State your name and address for the record, sir.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Dave Williams, 11 West Water Street in Smithsburg. For full transparency, I'm a commissioner candidate, and my wife's an elected member of the school board. I'm here today to express my concern about the 2 vacancies on the Ethics Commission. On June 18, I emailed the Ethics Commission about what appeared to be conflicting or inaccurate information on the county website about the members of the commission. In that email, I asked to verify the 3 names listed. I also asked how long the 2 positions had been vacant and what were the plans and timeline for filling the vacancies. On June 27, I heard back from Mr. Downey. The 3 current commission members were now listed correctly on the website. I was informed that the vacancies were due to term expirations. So I have no idea when those terms actually expired to know how long those positions have been vacant. I was told that, quote, "those seats will be filled in due course." I was not told how long the seats have been vacant. And in a 5-member commission that requires 3 votes to take action, 2 vacancies mean that any finding of the commission must be unanimous. In my mind, the Ethics Commission is too important to leave 2 seats vacant, especially during an election year. Being told the vacancies will be filled in due course is not reassuring. I followed up the June 27 email with a reply, again trying to determine how long the seats have been vacant, and I never received a reply to that email. Perhaps in due course is a standard legal reply, but it's hardly responsive to my question about when the 2 vacancies would be filled. For example, scientists say that in due course the sun will eventually die and life on Earth will end. Washington County needs a 5-member ethics commission before then.
Thank you. Continue with citizens' participation. Is there anyone else? All right, seeing none, we will move forward with our first agenda item. Mr. Breeding, would you come forward and introduce yourself in the matter? Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. President. Board. Most of you know me. I'm Matt Breeding, Chairman of the Washington County Veterans Advisory Commission, and I want to thank the commissioners on behalf of the creation of the Veterans Advisory Committee. I can say without question that every member of the committee is dedicated to the betterment of fulfilling the needs of Washington County's veterans community. The Veterans Advisory Commission is currently comprised of 1 retiree from the U.S. Army, 3 from the U.S. Navy, 1 from the U.S. Marine Corps, veterans from the Army and Navy, and 1 military veteran spouse, and her husband is currently deployed in support and defense of our nation. So you've selected a group of people to serve the community, and we thank you once again for that. I believe you all were provided a copy of the trifold brochure that was produced at the county's expense, that we produced for dissemination amongst the various veteran service organizations, to include the American Legions, AMVETS, the VA clinic on Opal, and the professional building there. Interestingly enough, some of the work that just happened, I received a call last week from a veteran's family. The veteran, an honorably discharged veteran, is terminally ill and was due to pass, and the family had did not know who to contact for burial expenses that were coming. And because of picking up the brochure that was produced by the county, they knew to call, and within a few phone calls, the problem was resolved and the contact was made with the Veterans Administration. So I want to thank the county for that, and that's just the work of what we want to do, but we want to get the word out more about what we're here for to fulfill the mission that you dedicated us or directed that we mandate. So that's the good work. We've identified the logo, which is behind you, for the Veterans Advisory Committee. We have everyone has ordered their shirts or lapel pins or things like that at their own cost, and we're trying to arrange a group photo. We would like to do a press release in the near future with approval by the county to announce who we are, what we're doing, and how to contact us so we can better advise you, the Board of Commissioners, to better serve the needs. One proposal that I will be discussing at the next meeting, and I want to first of all thank the Washington County Commissioners, because you've led the way throughout the state on creating the Veterans Tax Credit program for honorably discharged veterans with a disability, and your percentage-based discount for their tax credit. Currently, the state of Maryland discounts or removes property taxes only for a 100% disabled veteran. And I will be making a proposal to the VAC next month to draft something that we would like to present to the Board of Commissioners for you to present to the Western Maryland delegation to the General Assembly, in hopes that the state will enact a similar program as you as the county commissioners have led to do. One of our successes is a discounted fare for veterans on the county commuter program. And we're very grateful for that. If they show their military veterans card and they want to ride the veteran community bus, they get a discount. We're working on doing the same thing with Parks and Recreations. We would like to see approval that if a veteran wants to host an event at one of the county pavilions and there's a rental fee, we would like to see a discount applied to that as well. So that's what we're working on. The final thing, we want to increase our awareness, and this is really important. We'll be working with the county, your administrative assistants, trying to get our Facebook page up, linked through your Facebook page created by the county, but to get the awareness out there with the idea of we want greater exposure for who we are, what we do. We would like to see more people that veteran-owned businesses contact us and be listed on the county's website, which, by the way, is growing, and we're thankful to the county administrator and the staff for posting those as they come along. So that's who we are, what we're doing, but we just would like to get more exposure and do everything for the veterans community that has done so much to preserve our way of life. So that's it.
The only comment I'd have, I think the committee had a lot of input on this. Not with county did the production of it and helped with it, but the committee actually created that. So I want to make sure they get some little bit of recognition. Thank you.
Hey, Matt, just one question. What do you guys have planned coming up for anything like functions or attending ceremonies or?
Great question. September 13th, your event coming up at the county park that was just mentioned a few minutes ago. I did share that with all members last night and push that out through our contact. I'm trying to get as many people there. Also trying to arrange something for Veterans Day activities on November the 11th.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Next up on the agenda, Kelball Rural Legacy. Chris Boggs, or who's here to? Hi, Chris Boggs. You've changed. Please introduce yourself in the matter, Jill.
Thank you, Commissioner. Jill Baker, Director of the Department of Planning and Zoning. Chris had a family emergency, so I'm filling in for him here. What's presented before you today is yet another of our ongoing efforts in land preservation for Washington County. In this particular case, this is part of our Rural Legacy Program. What we are asking for here is that the Kelball property, which is located at 2224 Roarsville Road, to be preserved permanently for its scenic value, its environmental and historic resources that are on the property. As you can read through the brief there, the Rural Legacy Program has been around since 1998. We have awarded a little more than $26 million through that program to accomplish about 8,100 acres of easements in and around the Antietam battlefield. We also have the Maryland Agricultural Land Preservation Program that we use, but again, this is Rural Legacy funding. Let's see here. So the easement, again, for this property is to preserve land that is also linked to DNR Rail to Trail, and it buffers 1,300 linear feet of Israel Creek. The requested motion this morning is to approve the easement project in the amount of $30,443.30 for 13.26 acres of easement. This is funded entirely 100% by the Maryland Department of Natural Resources. And we would ask as part of that motion to adopt the ordinance approving this easement purchase and authorizing the execution of the necessary documentation to finalize the easement purchase. Commissioner Klein, I'm going to beat you to the punch. Total, we have about 37,850 acres permanently preserved through our numerous land preservation programs in Washington County. That's in addition to all of the other parklands and other permanently preserved land. I think we're hanging somewhere around 28 to 30% of permanently preserved lands in Washington County.
One of the things I've asked the county administrator to do, and it falls into conjunction with Mr. Baker's request about warehouse, and it's going to overlap several different departments from our business development, Chris, your department, how many total acres of land that we have that was permanently preserved or will never be developed for warehouses? And one of the last statistics Chris Boggs gave me, that with potentially 300,000 some acres in Washington County, we have about 100,000 some acres that are in that preservation or in those parks. But I'd like to just bring that up because we need to also tell people at the same time we're facing growth and economic issues, that we're also at the same time have these programs that are preserving areas around the battlefield and the farm. So I think, John, you're working on that, but you did beat me to the punch. Chris tell you to do that?
Yes.
All right, thank you. I'm sorry I interrupted.
Yeah, and I think it is important for people to realize, and I'm on the Ag Preservation Board and the Planning Commission, I think it's important that we have a long line of people who would like to preserve their land who just don't have enough money.
That is correct, sir.
And as we get the money, we preserve more land. That's so much the way the dominoes fall. So, I mean, we're pro-preservation for sure. It's just got to keep getting that money to do it.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So what do you need, a motion to approve this?
Yes, sir, that would.
Commissioners, have any other comments? If not, entertain a motion to approve as presented.
Motion to approve as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, Commissioners.
Next up, I believe Susan Buchanan, would you come forward and introduce the topic?
Susan Buchanan, Director, Office of Grant Management. I'm here this morning for the Rural Maryland Economic Development Fund Grant Project Review and Ranking. The Rural Maryland Economic Development Fund's goal is to fund infrastructure projects that will support economic development activity, stimulate private investment, and grow jobs in rural counties. The program is funded by the Maryland Department of Commerce through a partnership with the state's 5 tri-county councils serving rural areas in Maryland. Each council is coordinating with local counties to identify projects which will benefit the region. Locally, the process is being coordinated by the Tri-County Council for Western Maryland. Tri-County Council has requested the county solicit and rank proposals and then forward those rankings to the council for a regional ranking. High-ranking projects will be invited to submit a full application to the Department of Commerce for funding consideration. A notice of funding availability was distributed in July to municipalities, educational agencies, workforce development agencies, and nonprofits, inviting them to submit project summaries for funding consideration. A review committee consisting of directors from the offices of Planning and Zoning, Business Development, Engineering, Grant Management, the Human Resource Recruiter, along with a review by the County Administrator, reviewed and ranked the projects. The Board of County Commissioners have the final authority to review and rank the proposals prior to submission to Tri-County Council. The Rural Maryland Economic Development Fund grants do not require any matching funds, and the total amount of funding available for the Tri-County Western Maryland region is $10 million. The Office of Grant Management received a total of 31 funding requests from eligible local organizations requesting $19,641,083. In your packet, you will see there is a copy of the project ranking as compiled by the review committee. Take a moment to look at that. I'd be happy to answer any questions about the rankings, the projects, the program, the thought process behind it. I will make note that it is our understanding that the $10 million will be evenly divided as much as possible between the 3 counties in the region. So realistically thinking, we're looking at about $3,333,000 for Washington County projects. Based upon that amount of money, it's anticipated by the review committee that hopefully the top 10 projects would be able to make it through to the next level in this process.
Commissioners, comments?
So, yeah, one question, I got a little confused there. So you're thinking this is a ranking, forget the amount requested, this is a ranking, and you're saying that you're thinking, did I hear that right, that the top 10 should get something, but
That's what our hope is. The review committee, part of the process of looking at all these projects, is you're obviously looking at eligibility and the results of what you're going to get from these projects, the impact, but we're also looking at how we're going to be able to move forward the maximum amount of projects locally so that we can,
so basically the chance from number 11 on here to 31 might not get anything, is that what you're
that's
saying?
because of the amount of funding available.
I got you.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Have a first and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next up, Susan, welcome back. Please introduce the subject in the matter. And introduce your guest.
Again, Susan Buchanan, Director, Office of Grant Management. Along with me today, I have Kay Huffman, Chair of the Washington County Gaming Commission. We're here this morning for the Washington County Gaming Commission's annual report and fiscal year 2022 Gaming Fund allocation announcement. The Washington County Gaming Commission wishes to present our report. In fiscal year 2022, the Gaming Commission had available $2,591,012.93 for distribution to local charitable organizations and the Volunteer Fire and Rescue Association. This figure reflects an increase of revenues over the previous fiscal year of $129,336.68. In accordance with state statute, 50% of the funding received is allocated to the Washington County Fire and Rescue Association, and the remaining is distributed to charitable organizations in Washington County. In May of 2022, the Gaming Commission received 84 funding applications from 75 charitable organizations. Total amount of funding requested from those 84 applications was slightly over $2 million. The applications were reviewed and considered by each gaming commissioner, and after review, group deliberations, and a gaming hearing held in June, the commission determined appropriate funding allocations based on the published and approved guidelines for distribution of gaming funds, which is consistent with the state statute governing the distribution of these funds. In your packet, you have the press release, which will be going out shortly after this presentation. It contains a list of all the gaming awards. I wanted to give Kay, Ms. Huffman, a moment to say a few words, but before doing so, I want to express my appreciation to her. This is her last presentation. She has done her terms, and I just wanted to give our appreciation, voice our appreciation for all the hard work and effort and leadership she has supplied the group.
Just wanted to thank you for the opportunity to serve on this. I'm a retired professional fundraiser, so to be on the opposite side of fundraising was a real experience for me, not only for my own self, but for our other members of the commission who has learned so much about all the wonderful agencies we have here in Washington County. Each of us read, and if you look at an application, the applications are like that, and each of us read anywhere 45 to 50 of those. Very time consuming. We review the financials, and then the organization has an opportunity to come in and talk to us. We get a chance to ask questions. Sometimes the questions will help us make our final decision. We have some very lively conversations in the room when we are making the decisions. And I just want to thank you for that opportunity, and I think it's a great program.
I got one question. Again, Randall's confused up here. But, so we had 2.591 million, right, available? And we allotted 2,062,000 and some change. What happens to the excess? Is there excess money left over?
We allocated the full to
Oh, you did the whole 20?
Yes.
2.5?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, we don't leave any on the table. You'll
Right.
find when we finally finish, there might be $245.33 left over, and we allot that.
So
to
some people got more than they requested, basically.
No.
No. No, the 2 million, the 2.5 million is the entire gaming fund.
Right.
50% of that goes to the Volunteer Fire and Rescue Association.
Okay.
So we gave out about half of that to the
gotcha.
nonprofits, and they had $2 million
So the
of
amount
requests.
requested, they didn't get as much as they requested.
Right, that's,
So the total application
unfortunately
was a
the
little
case.
over 2 million, right?
Yeah, it was a little over 2 million that was requested, and we had
1 point.
1 point, yeah,
Right, so
yeah,
there-
1 1/4.
See, y'all get me there, I'm there now, I understand it. so.
Right,
It's a lot of numbers.
This dollar amount, maybe I missed it. How's it compare, is it increasing now since restaurants and bars are back up open? Is it higher than it was during the COVID?
The-
We just see an
In
increase?
2020, we were impacted by COVID because of the shutdowns at the end of that fiscal year. The following year and this past year, we were actually above where we've been for several years, based upon the rebound of people coming back in, I guess, to the restaurants, going to the various operators that sell these tickets. We have noticed it's starting to slow down at the end of this fiscal year, and it always seems to correlate with the price of gasoline, disposable income. They kind of go hand in hand, so.
Okay.
And we have to make some very tough decisions when we look at all the different applications. And I tell you, we work really, really hard as a group and share information and ask questions to make the best decisions we can make that will benefit the most of our citizens here in Washington County.
Well, Mrs. Huffman, thanks for what you do, and to the members of your committee. Kind of like you alluded to, it might sound easy to hand out money, but it's difficult, and I'm sure many worthy organizations didn't receive funding this go-around, hopefully next time. But when I look at the list of organizations that were funded, it reminds me how blessed we are as a community to have organizations. These touch every corner of the county, young, old, and just almost any need imaginable. That's good work that your group did. Thank you.
And again, if there's no other questions, we thank you very much for the task.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, Rick Curry.
Morning, Rick Curry, Director of Purchasing.
Danny Hickson, Deputy Director of Buildings, Grounds, Facilities.
Subject before you this morning is intergovernmental cooperative purchase, INTG 22-0093, for 8 John Deere zero-turn mowers. Moved by resolution for the Parks, Building, Grounds Department to purchase 8 John Deere mowers for a cost of $79,564.16 and to utilize another jurisdiction's contract. It was awarded by the Baltimore County Public Schools, contract LKO-40-20-001 to John Deere of Cary, North Carolina. The department is requesting to replace 8 tractors that have met their useful life according to the county's vehicle and equipment guidelines. Those tractors will be, the 8 tractors that are being replaced will be sold on gov deals and auctioning. Code of Local Laws does allow for this board to participate in goods and services through another entity's contract if the board wishes to do so. There is a cost savings because, one, we don't have to take and prepare a bid packet, do the evaluations and all that. We have the attached quote from Atlantic Tractors LLC. Are there any questions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda. Rick, please introduce yourself and your guest again.
Rick Curry, Director of Purchasing.
All day for 200.
And good morning, Kevin Lewis, Division Emergency Services.
Okay, gotcha.
Subject is Intergovernmental Cooperative Purchase, INTG-22-0096, Virtual Reality Interactive Learning System. The recommendation is to move by authorized resolution for the Division of Emergency Services to purchase a virtual reality interactive learning system for a total cost of $227,810 and to utilize another jurisdiction's contract was awarded by Calhoun Community College, contract number CCC-21-35 to Echo Healthcare Incorporated of Sarasota, Florida. As you can see in the brief report, this system will allow the department to do training for various
All of public safety,
safeties.
law enforcement, fire, EMS.
Yeah. And it is allowed by the Code of Public Laws, as before I mentioned, the board can participate in goods and services through another entity's contract. Funds are available for this purchase, and you have the quote from Echo Healthcare attached to the ARC. Are there any questions?
Yeah, Kevin, that's what you gave us a tour of the other day down, and that's some of the things you're going to add to that room, that situation room, or?
Correct. What it does is it allows us basically to build out what's referred to as the simulation lab at the Public Safety Training Center. As we put in basically a system for both recording audio and video, what this system does is allows us to create a 360 virtual environment from floor to ceiling. So I can transition a person from a street corner within the city of Hagerstown or an intersection in the county, put basically a patient simulator. It comes with 9 patient simulators, everything from basically a newborn to geriatric patients. The simulators even include simply individuals that have suffered like drowning experiences, where we can put the paramedics, we can put firefighters, or we can put law enforcement into the actual reality of the event for which they may be responding to as they come out of any of our paramedic courses, come out of the recruit academies, come out of any of the MIFRE courses, or come out of the law enforcement academy. So it gives us that 360 reality virtual environment to function in a practical, safe environment, I'll say.
Very good. Commissioners, any other comments? Move to authorize.
Motion to authorize.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Before we go to closed session, County Administrator, would you introduce our guest in the audience
I was
today?
gonna say, we have someone who snuck in at the end there.
Yes.
Our new
I can't see
superintendent
that
of schools,
far. We
Dr.
would
David
have got
Savine.
you. Would you want to come forward and make a
welcome
couple
you.
comments?
I know you snuck in there, and I gave you a little wave, but just wanted to welcome you here.
But we have to make it official. You have to get one of our county logo pins and make sure you have.
Oh, nice.
Well, thank you. President Klein, members of the Board of Commissioners, and Mr. Martirano, certainly appreciate this opportunity to speak with you. I can tell you, as a new superintendent of Washington County Public Schools, I'm excited about working with you in this partnership. I know our Board of Education, like myself, are excited about the opportunities. We thank you for your leadership and service to this great community and your commitment to making it stronger. So I look forward to growing our relationship and partnership, and just thank you for what you do to make Washington County such a great community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Yes, welcome.
All right. Commissioners, motion go in closed session.
Motion to go in closed session.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you
Second.
very much.
Aye.